Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Mostly Sci-Fi podcast, and I am Mostly Sci-Fi. How you guys doing today? It's been almost a week since I made my last video in which we spoke about Bud Hopkins' Missing Time and Intruders book and the books that I was going to read. Now, I fulfilled that promise. I did tell you guys that I would read the next thing in the Alien franchise, but I decided to hold that back until I finish this book because I've seen that many people are fascinated with the just aliens, right? And you're very fascinated with aliens or aliens versus predator. And I'm thinking, why are you fascinated with this type of science fiction? And because I think it's because the alien is such a unique creature, the xenomorph is a unique creature, the predator is such a unique creature, and both in their own right are very terrifying, right? So they're very, very terrifying creatures. The xenomorph probably being the more terrifying of the bunch. And then I started to think, well, I've read already what? I think I've read 2 whole books. That is Original Sin and that is Aliens Genocide. And I'm going to read another one after this Intruders book. So that will be the next book. It's going to be another alien novel. I'm going to try to figure out which one. But I was thinking, you like to be terrified, right? That's why you come to this channel, maybe to listen to me read, because this channel is I made specifically for those truck drivers that are driving on the highway for hours on end and they need an audio book or someone reading to keep them or help them to stay awake or entertained. So that was like one of the main reasons why I did this. It's like a favor to the truck drivers, you know. It's hard to find good material these days. But what I was thinking is that why do you like the xenomorph? And it's because it's a terrifying creature. But at the end of the day, it's not real. Like, we know for a fact that the xenomorph is not real. We know for a fact that the predator is not real. Maybe somewhere out there in the universe there's something almost like it, but for the most part, it's most likely not real, right? And I wanted to bring you something terrifying that has a possibility to be real, and these are alien abductions. Now, people have not been like really into it, I guess, because right here I got like 32, and then because Bud Hopkins, if you're not from the old school and you weren't up on like reading about like X-Files and stuff, and you didn't delve too much into the topic, you don't know who Bud Hopkins is. So, you know, Bud Hopkins was an artist, I believe. Oh no, I'm wrong. But he went to a very good university, which I can't recall now. I should have done my research. But he went to a very good university. Only got a bachelor's degree though. But he became a very, very popular painter, and his paintings are in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, okay, and the Guggenheim, and in other places. And he wrote 3 books. One of them, the first one I do believe was Missing Time. The second one is Intruders. And then there is a third one, which is, when I'm like live, it's really hard and I get nervous, and it's hard to remember something. So it's not that I haven't been doing it. It's just that when I'm I'm on the spot. When I'm put on the spot, I tend to forget things. So it's missing time, it's intruders, and then there is like another one about there was some kind of alien abduction or alien or UFO sighting on a Brooklyn bridge, and that was like years ago. If you look it up, he wrote a book about that. Okay, so I'm reading the one Intruders. Okay, and the reason why I told you the last podcast that I was terrified of missing time, right, and intruders, because it introduced me to a genre that I didn't know existed that was just terrifying. And back in those days, I didn't really know the xenomorph because I wasn't into Alien. I didn't get into Alien until like college, right? But this has been the responsibility. Bud Hopkins is responsible for me sleeping with the lights on. And the book is terrifying because it's supposedly supposed to be true. And where he is in Intruders, he's interviewing a woman who wrote him a letter to say that she has been abducted by aliens, right? And he heavily scrutinized this case, this woman. Okay, he put her through the deepest microscope. He got all the scientists to come. He got psychologists to come, psychiatrists. And all of them basically verified that this woman is not lying. They even have physical evidence, which I'm about to show you now. So this is a companion piece to Intruders because I'm reading and then they're talking about certain things. So the last two chapters, this one, I believe is talking about the kind of crop circle that was next to her house, that was in her backyard, right? And it's explaining it, but if you don't have the photos, it's hard to visualize it. So I decided to find the photos and then it explains what the photos are. So if you've been like listening to this, I don't want to call it a novel because it's you can't even call it science fiction. So it's because it's a possibility that it's true. Okay, it's true. She's saying it's true, but Hopkins is saying it's true. The scientists are saying she's not lying. Okay, so where did we put this book if you put it in a bookstore, right? So I don't even know what to call it. So, but this part here was where the alien craft landed. It was like some kind of egg-shaped alien craft. And then this is the part where it kind of took off. So they're saying like it took off or something. So this is where it landed. And it says, photograph of ground traces, view of Kathy Davis's lawn, taken about 6 weeks after the June 30th, 1983 UFO landing. I wish they was in color, but I know back in the days, like, especially when he probably wrote this in like 1987, I think it came out. So, there weren't too many colored books. I guess he didn't know if it was going to be so successful, so he opted for black and white. I would have opted for color so that we could have more clarification, but it is what it is. So it says 1983 UFO landing, January. So this is the first one, right? So the first one is a view of Kathy Davis's lawn taken about 6 weeks after the June 30th, 1983 UFO landing. So this is 6 weeks after. And then the second one, I guess, is like when it's snowing, I think. So January 1984, 7 months after the landing, the melting snow clears first over the affected soil, which in its baked dehydrated state will not hold moisture. Okay, which is weird. So, okay, so you can see where it is. Yeah, it's very defined, right? It's very defined, right? So you got it here, then you got here, and then you got it where it's very, very defined. And then 3, June 1984, 1 year after the event. Okay, so it's still there. It looks like a kind of like a baseball diamond type of thing where you run into the home plate. So that's one of them. There's like 9 photos. I'll try to get them all in. I'm not sure if I can, but this is the the physical laboratory report. So as you can see, like, so he did scientific analysis of all of this stuff, right? And so they're taking soil. I'm thinking this is like normal soil that wasn't affected by the UFO, like this regular soil around this spot, and then this is the soil inside this spot. And you can see like the difference, right? So he said in August 1983, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. August 1983 view showing the long swath from the presumed line of takeoff. The night of the landing, Kathy and her friend Deanne walked along the gravel path at the far right on their way to the swimming pool. Deanne's daughter, Tammy, walked to their left, stepping on the affected swath. She reported that the ground was still warm and her bare feet tingled. I'm surprised, like, that if that's radiation, she should have cancer. Like, I don't know. So, and then it says contrast between controlled soil at left, taken from an area several feet from the land site, and the affected soil itself is the right one, right? Note the lighter color and hard, desiccated appearance of the affected soil. So, like I said, this is the regular soil, and then this is the affected soil. And this is like, I guess, a month after or something like this, or maybe like a year after, it still has been affected. So we can know that this is most likely in the north of America. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go to Bud Hopkins Intruders, listen to it. I've already read like about almost 2 hours of it, and I'll be finished with the next chapter in about, I'll say in about a couple of days, like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. I'll have it there by Monday or Tuesday. And that one will be close to maybe an hour and a half. So, yeah. Okay, so it says 6, the soil lab report shows the difficulties the testers had trying to turn the control sample into the pale, hard, desiccated chunks of the soil from the landing area. Both samples are the same chemically, verifying the fact that they originated in the same general area. Thus, the changed color and texture of the affected soil was apparently caused by the application of some sort of heat or other energy rather than by chemical action. To duplicate the affected soil, sample B had to be heated at 800 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 hours. So that is creepy. I don't know what they're talking about with it. I thought there was another photo, but wow, 6 hours at 800 degrees Fahrenheit. That is enough to get out of the atmosphere. That's like rocket fuel, right? Okay, so this is Kathy's leg, because later on in the novel, we haven't reached that part yet, but later on in this novel, I don't even call it a novel, but whatever. Later on in this documentary, she claims, or she alleges, or whatever, that the extraterrestrials put instruments in her body, and that these are part of the scoops or the scars that are left. She says that they're still inside. Now, I remember reading that the doctor took one part of this thing out, and they analyzed it, and the material there's no class of it on the periodic tables or something. They said something like that, of metal at least. No class on the periodic tables of elements of the metal. Okay, so this is some kind of other metal. Okay. Um yeah, so these are the scoops in her legs. It says Kathy's legs, 7, showing scars received during 2 childhood abductions. And then this one says Kathy's mother's leg. I can't see it very clearly. Okay, I'm guessing it's this and this, like this and this. Okay. Um, Kathy's mother's legs showing scar apparently received during a childhood abduction. And then 9, which is this one, is a scoop mark scar on the back of Nick received during a childhood abduction in Brooklyn. So this is when he was talking about the Brooklyn Bridge, I think, but I'm not sure. There was a Brooklyn Bridge incident. So you see this 1, 2, 3. You could hardly see this one, but I'm thinking it's this and this part. And then this guy has like 1 and 2. And so they kind of look similar, right? It seems like this one's a triangle. 1, 2, 3. Like a triangle. And maybe you can make out a triangle. 1, 2, 3. And then this one's 1, 1, 2, and maybe there's a 3 right here. But it seems like it's a triangle mark. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are the sketches of the said extraterrestrials, which they call grays. So it says finished drawing by UFO investigator Gail McBride, based on a North Carolina abduction case. Okay, so that's 10. So that's this one. I remember looking at that and I just felt creeped out by it because they look scary, you know. And then 11, finished drawing by Kathy Davis of the UFO occupant she has observed on a number of occasions. So 11 is the one she kept seeing. Okay, you can see they look similar. And then number 12 is a finished drawing by Rosemary, an artist abducted one night in 1972 from an apartment rooftop within the New York City limits. Note the wrinkled or mottled skin of the lower face, an unusual feature, but one that has been reported in other cases. Okay, so maybe reptilian, I don't know. Because some of the stories you hear about reptiles, like reptilian stuff. Okay, so this is 13. This is a sketch from a New England abduction case. 13. 14. Sketch from a Mexican abduction case. The figure was described as wearing a kind of hooded garment. And then 15, this one, sketch from a Staten Island, New York abduction. And then 16 sketches from a Canadian abduction. So I think what he's trying to say is that all the sketches, they pretty much resemble each other. So people from different parts of the world are seeing the same thing. Okay. 17, a sketch by an abductee in New Jersey. Okay. 18, drawn from a Pennsylvania abduction case. So it's 18, right? 19, drawn from a Kentucky abduction case. And 20, finished profile drawing by an artist, Denise Mount, of a UFO occupant in a Truman, Kansas abduction. As these drawings demonstrate, UFO abductees' recollections of odd-shaped heads and hypnotic eyes are often so powerful that other facial details are overlooked. Yes, agreed. Okay, so this is where it gets very interesting. Okay, so she has a daughter named Robert. A son named Robert. So it says a sketch by Kathy's son Robbie of his bedroom drawn when he was 4 years of age. At the top of the drawing, Robbie explained is E.T., whom he dreamed came into his room. He told me that it was a nice dream, and E.T. is drawn with some accuracy and charm as the movie depicts him, turtle-like and very long-necked. Down below, however, is the scary man with the big head and the invisible mouth. So we didn't get to him yet because now when I'm reading, it's going to be mostly when Kathy's in her hypnotic state, Kathy's mother, Deanne, and the son Tommy. So the son Tommy is the scariest one. Robbie. The son Robbie, his account is so frightening. It terrified me. Okay, because this is a little kid. And he's like 4 years old. You can't coach a little kid to say whatever, whatever. They're just going to tell you the truth, whatever, right? So his account was scary, okay? But from now on, like after this during this latest chapter that I'm reading, about halfway through, then you're going to be listening to when she's under hypnosis. And then that's when it gets really insane. Okay, so it's down with some accuracy. He says, at the top of the drawing, drawing with some accuracy and charm as the movie depicts him. Turtle-like. So this is the scary man with the invisible mouth who Robbie explains really did come into my room. He makes a very clear distinction in both his drawings and his recollection between a dream and a reality. Okay, so that's going to be in chapter 4. I'm only on chapter 2 right now. So, I mean, this looks like a mushroom from Mario Brothers. I don't know. He's 4 years old, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to see, but he knows what E.T. looks like, right? And this is definitely not E.T., right? He's like, this is. I don't know if you can find any similarities between that and the Greys. Okay, so this is 22. Kathy's preliminary sketch of the landed UFO glimpsed through her garage door on June 30th, 1983. Note the light and the jointed landing gear leg. So this is the thing she said landed, that it was shaped like an egg. So I'm thinking that firstly there's like a huge saucer like up top, and then from the saucer you got like a landing gear, and then that's where the people come out. Because we got that like that in the when you have a rocket ship, right? The rocket ship is blasted off from Earth, and then it like lets loose off this thing, and then on the way or like on top, when it's next to the moon, it has some other thing that comes off of it, right? Like a lander, and then they land on the planet, and then the Earthlings just come out, right? Like that, and then walk on the moon. You just don't land a ship there. A lander comes out, right? So I think this is like some kind of lander. So sketch of the landed UFO glimpsed through her garage door on June 30th, 1983. Note the light and the jointed landing gear. Okay, so it is kind of weird. So it's like, okay. So I guess this is the light leaving from vehicle. So there's a light leaving from the vehicle. This light is kind of like a probe or something. Then you got the door, the legs, and she said they're sucker bands. I guess they suck to the ground or something. I don't know what these two things are. Okay, so she said this is one of the people. Like white cotton. Sparse. You can see the scalp in places. So the hair is kind of like, it's almost like some kind of hybrid or something, right? No eyelashes or eyelids or something. Skin creamy white, satiny and creamy white. Pale pink lips, high cheekbones. Okay, so Kathy's preliminary sketch. 2. Kathy's more developed sketch of this 8-foot diameter object. 24. Sketch of a similar object involved in Mindalore, South Africa abduction investigated by Cynthia Hind. Note the similar position of the door, the jointed landing gear, and the external lights. So these are people from 2 different sides of the planet. They kind of explaining the same thing. And they explaining it when they're under hypnosis. Okay, and they never met each other. So, sketch by Joyce Lloyd of an object. So 25 is... Okay, so these are 3 different people saying this almost exactly the same thing. Okay? Some people say it's the government. I don't think it's the government. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. That's it for now. I don't got anything else. That's all the pictures in the book. But I would implore you to listen to it. It's a fairly short book. I'll probably be finished in like a month. It's not going to take me the same amount of time as Aliens Genocide did. It was like a whole year. No, it'll probably take me a month to read it, and then I'll go back to Aliens. But I wanted you to experience like real aliens, or what I perceive to be true. So please check it out. Like, give it a like or comment if you can. Like, comment what do you think about whatever this is, what this phenomenon is. Do you believe in it? Do you not believe in it? I would appreciate the feedback. It helps the algorithm and it helps this channel grow. So this is mostly sci-fi. Mostly. And I'm out.